Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So starting off this video, doing a little work on my 080 Indiana Harbor Belt River RC that I got at Caboose Stop Hobbies quite a while ago now. So I've got a dummy coupler installed on the front. This is just going to be going around the loop that I have on my O scale. So if I ever do something different in the future, I'll take that off. It's just screwed in and make it a little bit better. The tender, I already have the coupler installed on it, and I'm happy with the results on there. So that works good. Now what I'm going to do is I will change out the coupler on the 10-wheeler, my Casey Jones, get it switched over to a KD. Those cars right there, if I can switch them over, I will. If not, I can just take them off the layout and put them away for right now, because I've got these cars that are all set. So I'm going to do that and then run the O scale a little bit once I get that set up, and then I'll move on to something else. Well, I haven't run the 10-wheeler for a while, so it's nice to see it running on the O scale. Got the KD coupler installed in the tender, and that is working good. These cars that I got from Caboose Stop Hobbies are running well, so I'm happy with this. I still need to get another O-scale caboose. I've only got the one. I'm still trying to either find a Pennsylvania or maybe some other type. I've got a kit, but I hadn't planned on building it until winter. So anyway, it is what it is. Let's see, there we go. I don't have the levelers on the track, so you hear a lot of click-clack back there. Very little on that seam, closer to me. That's running really well. See the driver is slipping a little bit. As noted in earlier videos, I've got a bit of a grade in the garage. So my next project is going to be adding leaf and pine needle litter under some of the forest. I know a lot of people have been commenting that I need to add some material, and I had been planning on it. I'm going to start doing that at this point in time. So what I've got is some kind of ground real leaf litter. I had this bag over here full of dried leaves, and over the past couple of weeks I've been letting it dry out more and then crunching it, let it dry more, crunch it and crunch, and I don't know if you can hear that thunder in the background. Now I'm going to sift it a little bit, just to kind of give me some material that I can put. I'm not going to put it under all of the forest. I just want to put it up near the front where you can see. If you remember one of my long ago videos, I talked about making it darker in towards the back by the scenic divide, and then gradually lightening it up as it comes forward. Gives you that illusion of depth in a dark forest. So this is only going to go in, about maybe the first couple of inches in areas in and around where I've got the trees at, where you can see it easily. Underneath, farther back, don't care. You're not going to see it. So it's going to be dark, and that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to sift this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this yellow long grass from JTT, and I'm going to cut it up as close to about a millimeter length as I can and mix it in with this. What I'm going to do is I want to have a blend of leaf litter, which will be about that scale, with some of these needles just kind of really fine in there to look like needle drops. And I might even spray paint some of these a little bit just to kind of give them a little more brown color. But I'll show you what this looks like after I get a little bit farther here. I have things sifted at this point. So this material will go under the pine trees. Not a lot, but just in some areas to give it that earthy look, like a forest bed. Over here, I spray painted a little bit to kind of darken up. I'll add some of the different colors, and like I said, I'm going to cut it real fine. I'm going to hold off mixing it until I get it cut, just in case I don't like it. I might just go with this. We'll see. Then stuff that wasn't fine enough to get through the sieve, I've got this material here And this looks a lot like bark. So when I get going into the logging camp and I have, down limbs, tree trunks laying around and whatnot, I'm going to use this in and around where the trees are laying, kind of simulate bark on the ground, as well as, other scenic materials, just to kind of give it that look. So this won't go to waste. This I'll use, this I'll cut, and see if I like it, which I don't know. I'll mix up a little bit of it and see how that looks next. So a little bit farther along right now, I used a lot of that JTT grass, and you can see a pile of it here. What I did do is I started to use the rope. I would pull off, an inch or two and cut it and unspool it and then cut it up into about millimeter long sections, and I would come up with something about this color, which is nice. This over here represents the mix between here and here. So this is going to represent pine needles on the forest floor. The colors look good. They blend well. They give you sort of that textured appearance. So I think that's going to work. I will do an undercoat of that, and then on top of that, in some areas, under the trees that are pine trees, which are most of them, I'm going to put that. So I'm going to continue to cut up at least all of this, and then quite a few more 1 inch, 2 inch chunks of that rope to get me another big pile here, and then I'll just kind of blend all of this together. And it's easy to work with. Just kind of take a small piece, go in and just sort of sprinkle it. This will take a little bit more work because it tends to clump, but I can get it, and maybe even tweezers to kind of apply it. I don't know. I like the texture and the effect. It should be good. So we'll show a little bit more as I get a little farther. Well, I think I've got enough material cut up for pine needles. So I'm going to go over and pick a spot and start to put this down and see how it looks. So I'm going to start putting some of the pine needles down under these trees. Again, when I get farther into the back, I'm not going to do much, but just in the front. And let's see how that looks. I won't glue it in until I'm all done, because in case it doesn't look good, I'll vacuum it out. Same scene about 10 minutes later. So I applied a very fine coating of pine needles, different areas around this part of the forest. I also added in some of the leaf material, kind of make it darker in the background. So I like the effect. Don't think I'll have to vacuum it up. So added leaf litter there. Combination of leaf litter and pine needles around some of the trees back there. More leaf litter up under this group of deciduous trees. Leaf litter. So that makes it look nice and darker in there. A little bit more natural. Up here, added a little bit of pine needle, a little bit of leaf litter. I'm going to add a little bit more pine needles around here just to make it look a little better. Added some around there. So all in all, I like the effect. I've still got a little bit of the leaf litter left. I'm gonna have to make up a lot more. Still plenty of the grass for pine needles, so I'm happy with that. Do a little bit more up here tonight, and then I will call it good for this evening. It's Thursday night, so tomorrow night I'll get a little bit more done before I start on the weekend project, which is to add the shelves that go underneath. Like right there, and there, and there, and there. So I've got my 1/4 inch plywood. I've got a whole bunch of 1x2s right here. So that'll be a project that should still be on this video, I think. And that way I can get my storage a little bit better organized. But yeah, I like how that looks. So Friday night, and I have used up all of the pine needles. Done some work on this side of the layout. Near the cabin and the bridges. So I've got additional pine needles sort of spread out under the pine trees here. Now I've not done anything up on the ridge line yet. And you can see I've still got just polyfibers tucked in behind the trees. I still have to do scenery work there. Did add some pine needles up here around the bear and just kind of along these trees here. A little bit more, kind of hard to focus, in and around the guy standing there. A little bit more in and around where the deer are. And I did add the jumping deer kind of coming in there as well. Pine needles there, added some pine needles underneath these trees. Coming up over here, more pine needles, more of the leaf litter as well. I've used up pretty much everything that I've got for that too. So combination up here at the cabin. You can kind of see again some of the differences underneath the trees. A little bit of litter there. More along here, you know, kind of coming in there, the pine needles. More pine needles coming around. And sorry about going fast. And again, there's more pine needles in here. Kind of hard to see just with the lighting. Did add some more over in here, in and around where the still is. I did do more up in this area as well. So I've got to make some more up, but I won't do that for a while. I will make more leaf and other things, and later I'll come back in and add a little bit as I get a little bit farther on some of the things here. So anyway, it's time to change over and put the shelves in. So I've got some work to do on that. That'll happen Saturday. So before I get started doing these shelves, I'm going to interrupt my video for an unboxing. Earlier on in the video, you know, I was talking about that I was having trouble finding Pennsylvania O-scale cabooses. You know, every time I go to Caboose Stop Hobbies in Iowa, I always check. You know, they've got more Midwestern roads and Western roads. Kind of hard to get some of the Eastern stuff there. So this week, early, I was looking on eBay and not finding anything that would work for what I wanted. But then I followed the trains.com to their online store, and lo and behold, I found some good deals on cabooses, including Pennsylvania cabooses. So I ended up going a little bit wild and got 2 boxes worth of cars. Essentially, it was like 2 separate deals that they had. So let's open these up and see what I've got. I really think I will not need to buy any more O-scale equipment for a long time. So let's see how this turns out here. So the smaller box was from a purchase that was mostly cabooses, and then 1 gondola, and that is solid like pop metal. That is a heavy gondola. So I bought these thinking that I was going to repaint in the future, whatnot, make them Pennsylvania. Then I got looking at the website, and lo and behold, I found Pennsylvania cabooses, as well as some additional cars, some Pacific Fruit Express cars, nice little smaller gondola. And I'm finding with the tracks that I've got, you know, it's sectional O-scale, it's tight radius, that the 50-foot cars, while they work, they don't work as well, especially with body mount couplers. The smaller cars work great with the tight radiuses. So that's predominantly going to be what I'm running on the O-scale. Now, both of these cabooses are old wood kits. They are done pretty well. I've got a little bit of TLC that I need to do with each of them. I got to check them out, probably change out couplers on 1 or 2 and, you know, get them ready to run. And like the top caboose, there's some railing that's missing and a little damage on one side. But the way my layout is just a simple sort of a dog bone type shape. One side is never seen from the tracks, so I can run a caboose on here, and if there's any damage to a side, I can have it facing away. So I've got some stuff to keep me busy. A little later, I will get that caboose or one of those cabooses operable, and I'm going to have some complete trains running on the O-scale now, including the caboose I already have. Over here, probably more display models. I might run them from time to time as I get maybe some different engines or some different road names. But anyway, I'm happy with the purchases. That'll give me something else to do in the evenings to get these run ready and on the layout. Now back to doing some shelf construction. So Saturday afternoon, making progress on the shelf install. I've got my cleats put in place on one side, and the shelf is just going to sit in there loose, so it's going to sit on top of these. There will be a piece that runs across the center, and then similar pieces on the other side, and then the 1/4-inch Lunan plywood will just sit on top of it. So I've got everything here. It's all in place. Now I need to let the glue set because I don't have enough clamps. So I'm just going to go on and do something else this afternoon. It's a beautiful day in Richmond. I've got yard work that's been neglected for the past couple of weeks due to travel in Iowa. So I'm going to do a few other things this afternoon. Let these clamps sit on for at least a couple of hours. Then I'll pop them, and then I'll do the backside. And after that, I can cut the shelves and put them in place. So making some progress on it. So Saturday evening, and I am wrapping up this project. I still have a little bit more to do, but not too much. So this is my end module, and I've got the storage areas put in. Over here, I am close to putting the shelf in. I've got to let the glue dry a little bit longer over there, then I'll remove the clamps and then cut the pieces and put them in place. But you can see I've already got some empty boxes over here. That's temporary. Those will actually get put up on the shelves over there. And I'll get some like plastic storage bins with drawers and put on that. And this is what I had originally intended, so that when I do go to shows, I can load up my rolling stock in those little storage containers, and then I can take them with me, put them on the shelves as I go. I will also clean up under here. I've got a variety of stuff I don't need in this storage area anymore, like the boxes of track and the On30 flex track. I can put those into a different permanent storage area. So get a little bit more done here and get this cleaned up. I'll be able to kind of clean up this area over here with the variety of freight cars and other stuff in piles. So making some progress, but that's going to do it for this video. So keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.